Hey, I'm sorry that you're here because it means you've been injured or you're looking for some information for your friends or family, and I'm here to give you some hope because I had a near full thickness tear of my ACL and it healed naturally on its own. I'll start with my story, how I got injured, and then I'll go through protocols in terms of supplements and exercises that I've done. So if you don't want to hear about how I got injured, you can skip to this part. I was in New York in 2020-23 in the summer, and going through the busy city, as you know, there was one of the little streets in Chinatown, one-way direction. I was crossing on a green light while suddenly this cyclist out of the blue raced into me, crashed into me, going against one-way road and on a red light for him. The way he hit me was just under my knee, here on the shin, right below. I kind of jumped to the side. I nearly fell, but I twisted my leg, and this is how usually ACL injuries happen. And he just raced away. He looked back, he didn't stop, he didn't apologize. I was in shock, I was completely in shock. And I limped to the side of the street and my whole leg was pulsating. I was freaking out. I really thought I broke it, I fractured it or something. So I got an Uber to my apartment, iced it, and in the morning when I woke up, my knee was double the size of the other knee. And I was terrified because I never broken anything in my life. I never had any bad injuries or accidents, and I was there in New York just knowing a couple of people, no real friends or family. I was there just on a short trip. Thank God I had travel insurance, so I immediately booked an appointment with a doctor who was specializing in knees and bones, and went for an assessment. And then he did a few tests on me. He just touched my knee all around the leg, and I kept asking him, do you think it's broken? Do you think it's broken? Because this was my biggest fear, being in a cast, and God knows what's going to happen because I'm there just on my own, really. And he said, I don't think it's broken, maybe it's a fracture. So he sent me to do an MRI scan just of one leg. And I went there, and then 2 days later I went back to the doctor's office. He's actually a surgeon. My heart was pounding. I was just very scared of the news and exactly my diagnosis. And then he did a few more weird tests where I was lying down and he was trying to straighten my leg, and did a few other tests. I think he was doing proper ACL tear tests. And he told me, okay, yeah, it's not broken. And I was like, oh, thank God it's not broken. And he said, but you definitely need surgery. And immediately I was shocked because I didn't even know, to be honest, before this whole incident what ACL was and what meniscus was. So his conclusion was that my ACL was badly torn. As you can see here, this is a screenshot from the report, that it's nearly fully torn. There are some fibers, but their state is questionable. And I had obviously damage to my meniscus and a few other bits. He said, yeah, definitely you need surgery if you want to live a healthy life. And he said, yeah, well, this is one of the very common injuries. A lot of people do surgeries. Book it as soon as possible because the longer you stay without it, it will get even worse. So I went home and I was crying. I called my mom because I didn't tell her on the day of the accident because I wanted to tell her exact diagnosis. She told me, look, if you have the images of this MRI scan, just send it to your father. He was right next to her because apparently he knows some doctor in Russia. This is where they live. Maybe we can get a second opinion. And I thought, okay, yeah, maybe, let's see, maybe it's even worse now. The Russian doctor will scare me. My father called me back a day later and said that the doctor asked him if I am a professional tennis player, and my father was saying, of course she's not. And he was almost like, why are you even asking this? And then the doctor said casually, well, then just give it some time. Do some basic exercises. It might get better. And unless she's a professional athlete, she doesn't need immediate surgeries. People can heal sometimes on their own. When he told me this, I was thinking, okay, so breathe, it's not so bad. Maybe it can actually heal. But during this first 4 days, while I was going back to the New York doctor and speaking to my parents, I was not really being able to walk. I got myself a knee brace on Amazon. I was doing a lot of Googling, and can ACL heal on their own? And all the answers were saying no. Apart from a few people who said, oh, it could be maybe when you're very young, but I'm in my 30s, so I thought, okay, I'm completely hopeless because it's not like I have a body that's still growing and healing itself to the maximum capacity. One good thing though about the New York surgeon is that he told me to get a special knee brace that's different to the one I got on Amazon, because if you have ACL injury or anything with knees, you need metal brackets that go along the sides of your leg so that your leg doesn't twist further and cause more damage. I ordered that, and I was wearing the knee brace for 2 months after the accident. I'll link it below. After a month in New York, during my trip, I went back to Austin, where I used to live. So what exactly did I do? Apart from getting that special knee brace and wearing it for 2 months that the New York surgeon recommended, I was doing these exercises. These are the basic rehab exercises that you can just Google, and these are the similar exercises that my Russian doctor told me and the New York doctor told me too, because both of them said even if you do surgery immediately or within a few weeks of the injury, you still need to make sure that you are strengthening the muscle all around the knee. And I was very lucky with my fitness background that I already had quite good muscle mass supporting the knee prior to the injury. So I was really trying to get more blood flow to the knee because, as you know, ACL has no blood vessels at all, and this is why the theory that it can never heal on its own stands. And let me tell you, these exercises are very boring. Again, from my fitness background, I felt like I was some grandma doing 5 to 10 reps every morning, every evening of just these basic exercises. And it felt quite pointless, but I trusted the process and I was doing these boring exercises for about 2 or 3 months. And then I went back to lifting. I removed my knee brace and I tried to do body weight squats, adding a little bit of weight. Going up and down the stairs was quite uncomfortable. Then I went into the rabbit hole in my research in Reddit, and I also found an amazing group on Facebook that I will link below. Here how it's called, and it's all about people who are avoiding surgery or quite against surgery and trying to rehab on their own. In that group I found a few more miracle cases posting their before and after MRI scans who had their ACL completely healed, and I really was hoping, I'm not a religious person, but I was nearly praying like, please let it be me, I hope it's me. And from that research I found one thing that I was quite upset about. I found one Australian method that's called cross-bracing protocol. What it means is that as soon as you have your injury and you get your diagnosis, you need to fix your leg in a L shape, like a 90-degree, because what the Australian research has shown, once you're bent like this, so imagine like this is the thigh, this is the knee, the fibers that are torn will be closer together, so there's way more chance for it to heal naturally. And I was kicking myself because I found this information probably a month or two in, and I was thinking like, oh my god, I ruined my chances because I kept my leg straight all the time. I did put a pillow under my leg when I was sleeping just to keep a slight bend because it felt more comfortable, while the straight leg felt really awkward. So please look into that research. There's amazing success stories, and if you're watching this from Australia, definitely go and check it out in person. In terms of supplements, from my research, and also I posted my injury on Instagram, and a couple of people told me that these two peptides would really help me, BPC and TP something. But one thing that I found quite hard is that there's very limited research. And also, I don't know who to trust in terms of online supplement stores. I thought some of them may be fake, some of them may be dodgy. I ordered these pills online. They were quite expensive, I have to tell you. And most people inject those peptides into the knee, but I'm not very keen on injections, so I thought, okay, I will just take these pills and hope and pray. I also stepped up on my nutrition. I'm already eating high protein in daily diet, more or less paleo. I went quite hard on protein, on liver, on gelatin, on bone broth, trying to feed my body all the nutrients that it would need to regenerate those tissues. And I have to tell you that after 6 months of doing this diet, like very heavy, focused on healthy fats, healthy protein, my hair and my nails improved so much. And I was thinking, okay, well, at least if my knee doesn't heal, at least now I have better hair. Because even if you do exercise and you take your supplements, your body needs building blocks, and that comes from food. It's just simple as that. So 6 months after my injury, I went back to London where I used to live, and now I live here now. I was feeling quite good. I was getting more confident in the gym, I was lifting more weights, and my knee felt quite comfortable. It would get a weird tingle here and there, but I wasn't sure what it was. I was very eager to get a second scan, which I've done at the 8-month mark. I did it privately because I know how the NHS works in the UK. I probably would have to wait months or weeks because my injury is not something that's life or death situation. It's not quite an urgent case. So I did an MRI of just one leg again for 2 days while I was waiting for the results. I was so nervous. I was just hoping and praying that at least some more fibers of my ACL would heal. And then I got the report, and the report says this: ACL is fully intact. I was like, oh, what, that's it? Like, I'm healed now? Of course, immediately I sent the images of my scan to my father to show to the Russian doctor. And he said, yeah, there you go, I told you, she's fine. And it was such a quick, surreal moment that I didn't quite digest it. It was such a weight off my shoulders, definitely one of the happiest days of my life. Oh my god, I did it, and I for sure cried. But one strange thing that kept happening is that I was still very scared of any bicycles that are passing by, and I'm still very cautious to cross the road. But sometimes I would get these weird kind of sensations around my knee, still to this day, and I think they call it phantom pains, as people who've been through trauma or injuries and their brain still remembers, or maybe being a bit paranoid almost. And now you're probably thinking, okay, there's nothing special or magical. Okay, you took this 2 peptides as pills, you did these boring exercises for a while. Maybe this is how life is, but you really do need to be consistent. And I'm a very consistent person, and I was stubborn and I was optimistic. And my thought process was that if I'm doing everything I can to rehab my knee and to give it the best chance of naturally heal, why not do it? But I'm here to tell you that also it could be you, because in the Facebook group, again, about people who are not going through surgery, there are miracle cases of ACL and meniscus healing from different age groups. So even if you are older than me, maybe in your 40s or 50s or even older, you still don't know. Body is such a miracle. I do feel lucky and grateful, almost like a Wolverine, that my body just healed on its own within 8 months. Hey, I hope it happens to you too. And if you are currently going through rehab or have any tips or maybe something that helped you, please write in the comments, because other people who will be watching this video might find it helpful, and you guys can also share between yourselves what helped, what didn't. One thought I want to end with, not to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but this is how many people get injured in America alone every year, and this is how much the surgery costs. So if you do the math and you really think about the doctors who are pushing hard for the surgeries, it's like hairdressers pushing for the haircut. You don't go to the surgeon and think, oh, he will send you back home. Of course, I'm not going to talk about the issues of healthcare in the States. I'm not sure how British doctors would approach it, but general consensus is that, yeah, they don't heal on their own. It's impossible and you need surgery. Something else from that Facebook group that gave me inspiration is that some people did their second scan of the ACL and it didn't heal, but they're now running marathons, they're living normal life, and they're just simply avoiding surgery for different reasons. Some don't want too much invasion because when they're reconstructing ACL, they're using fibers from your hamstring or even dead people. Yeah, that's true, you can Google it. Or some people are trying to save money, or some people don't want to be in this rehab because it's quite lengthy. So people have different reasons not to do surgery, and there are some miracle cases, and I hope that you are also one of us. And please, please, please get a second opinion. It's so important to get different perspective on the same injury. You can maybe send your MRI scans to somebody, or you can book an appointment with another doctor who will assess you properly. Doctors are great, but I don't think every doctor is amazing. Sadly, we never know doctors' true intention, if they're doing it for the money, as it happens in America, I'm sure, in some cases, or if they want what's best for you. So do your own research. In the end of the day, it's your body, it's your decision. It's the only thing that you have in this life. You have to take care of it, you have to nourish it well. Nobody can push you to do anything that you don't want to, or it doesn't feel quite right. But if you do need to get surgery in the end, I hope that you have speedy recovery. And as the Russian doctor said, it's a bad injury, but it's not the worst. So yeah, we have to be grateful that we are still alive. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!